tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The dark, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review from 2022 Sundance Film Festival. This one is one of the possibly hottest titles of this film festival. Definitely one that was highly anticipated by lots of people. This one is called Sharp Stick, and this is the return of director, writer Lena Dunham. And this one stars Kristine, Froseth, Taylor Page, Jennifer Jason Leigh, John Bernthal, and Scott Speedman. And here is the quick synopsis. Sarah Jo is a naive 26-year-old living on the fringes of Hollywood with her mother and sister. She longs to be seen. When she begins an affair with an older employer, she is thrust into an education on sexuality, loss, and power. That sounds like an amazing movie. I wish that was the movie I would have seen, but it kind of isn't. First off, let's say if you are not accustomed to Lena Dunham's work, if it's something that maybe turned you off the last time you saw a project from her, skip this movie because it's her. This is her style. If you don't like it, you're not gonna like this movie. And even if you do like her style, you still may not be the biggest fan of this movie. The character Sarah Jo, played by Kristine Froseth, is a very interesting person. At times, I was wondering, was she a special needs? And then when I researched the film a little bit and found out at one point in time, I believe the character was supposed to be special needs, and then they removed that element from the film. At least this is something I read, that they removed that element from the film. And I can understand from the subject matter of it why you would do that. But from the way the film works and this character moves, it doesn't make much sense for her not to be autistic, because that's what it looks like. That's what they were going for here. Again, we're introduced to this young woman who, backstory, she has a hysterectomy when she's 17 years old. She's just dealing with life. I want to say she's a counselor for special needs children. If not a counselor, someone who watches special needs children to help them progress in life, which are admirable things. But then this character develops a crush on the family's, the father of the family son that she's taking care of, and he's played by John Bernthal, the father here, and the mother is played by a pregnant Lena Dunham. Not pregnant in real life, but the mother on the screen is pregnant. And the best way to put it is the way it comes about of these two characters engaging in their sexual relationship in this film was very disturbing. Very, very disturbing to me. I didn't know what I was watching, and I said, oh, this just seems so uncomfortable. And I'm assuming because the character is uncomfortable, that they made the setup uncomfortable. But it doesn't fully explain why John Bernthal's character would go along with this. It does not make much sense in that aspect of it. And because it doesn't make much sense in that aspect of it, their whole sexual tryst and everything they do just felt unnecessary for me for this film. And then the side story of her sister, played by Taylor Page, and her mom, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, and the pursuit of TikTok or Instagram or whatever social media platform they were supposed to be on, that fame that they're going for, and the mom telling these stories about how she became their mother. It just all didn't work for me. And I don't know if it's because it's been so long since I've seen a project from Lena Dunham. Like, I remember Girls, and I remember liking the first couple of seasons of it, not necessarily the last couple of seasons of it. I remember her other work and me thinking, wow, this is really, really good here. Even her book, like, this is really, really good here. But this film, it just feels so disjointed. Like, I just didn't know what I was watching here. it definitely comes across as a self-discovery type of story for uh the character, that she's discovering her sexuality, and at the same time she's discovering what it means to be herself. um but the way they go about it is just not interesting, and that's the best way to put it. This movie is not interesting. I struggled through the hour and maybe 45 minutes that this movie is for it to keep my attention. Because while we understand, and while it is definitely shoehorned to you, that this is her attempting to discover who she is after having such a traumatic thing like the hysterectomy, and her not being really seen or focused on in her family, and now she's finally becoming herself. But the way they choose for her to become herself is just not a good thing. Between having a tryst with the married man, between her trying to have random hookups, between her being obsessed with this porn star played by Scott Speedman, it, none of it rang as anything that not only that I could relate to, but I even cared about. And that's the struggle here in this film, is I don't care about any of these characters because none of them seem like people that I would even want to care about. Like John Bernthal comes across as just the annoying, super hype dad until he's now cheating on his wife with this young woman who's there to take care of his autistic son. It just does not come across as something that I would even like him to do. At no point in time do you care about any of these characters. You're just going through the motions of watching this movie to see exactly where this is going to end up at. And the conclusion you get by the end of the movie is, oh, okay. Like that's how I feel by the end of this movie. Like, oh, okay. So, all of this is because she needs to discover herself and become sexually liberated and understand the power that her vagina, I'm assuming, has. I'm sorry if that word offends anybody, but that's it's there on screen and they say it a lot, and I'm assuming that that's what this film is about, is the power of owning your own sexuality and not needing to be seen by other people. I'm still trying to figure out the full meaning of this movie, and again, it's because none of it seems to be that important. I just don't get it. It just flew over my head. Again, maybe this is a film that it's targeted to a certain audience, and I am not a part of that audience. I would be interested to see who is a part of that audience, because this, for me, it just felt so unnecessary. It felt like something that could have been great. It starts off really interesting, and then after about 15 minutes, it just goes places, and you're just like, okay, I understand what I'm in for here, but let's hope this is executed well. At no point in time did I feel it was executed well. I didn't like any of the dialogue in it. Um, I didn't particularly care for the direction of it. I just did not care for this movie. And it's hard to say that because, again, this is from a writer director who I think is extremely talented. I think she has a great way with words, and normally I believe she's a great director. Maybe the last thing I saw that she directed may have been an episode of Industry on HBO, which I absolutely love that show, but this is just a mess. I don't know who this is for. It definitely is not for me. But Sharp Stick, brought to you from the 2022 Sundance Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Sharp Stick 3 out of 10. And just because Kristine Froseth is game in her performance in this, I can't blame her that I don't care about this character. She's definitely committed to this movie as much as humanly possible. Some of the comedic moments they attempt to give her in there do not come across as funny. It's one particular scene, very, very close to the end of the film, with her and Leah and John, that I found hilarious. And for that reason only, and the way she really commits to this role, is why I gave it a 3 out of 10. Because other than that, it would be a 0 out of 10. I found nothing redeeming about this movie. But again, just maybe, this movie is not for me. Maybe it will touch someone else. Who that person is it touches, I don't know. But if it does touch them, great. Again, Sharp Stick, Sundance Film Festival. I don't believe this one has been picked up yet. I'm almost 1,000% sure because it's a Lena Dunham project. It will most likely get picked up by someone. And we will let you know when it get picked up so you all can watch it and maybe tell me I'm wrong. Maybe tell me I don't get why this is great. Because right now I don't get it. But when you all can check it out, let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.